I'm Joe.
And I'm Lee.
We are the Rewinders, rewatching childhood movies to see if they hold up. This time, we watched...
Adventures in...
Babysitting.
Wah, wah, wah.
I paused because I
didn't remember.
was scared that if that was not the movie we were supposed to watch this week...
Oh, what do you think it should have been?
I don't know, but that's what I watched.
Hey, then it worked out.
Yay!
And it worked out for our guest over there, who I'm staring at.
Hi.
His name is Drew, and he suggested this movie reasons.
Accurate reasons. I for no reason whatsoever growing up, I watched this movie more often than virtually anything, and I don't know why. Like literally, you get your birthday money. I get like $30. So as a 9-year-old, you're loaded. And I honestly rented the movie and returned it and rented it for 3 straight weeks.
Wow.
For seemingly no reason whatsoever.
So like on the weekend when you got your allowance, you're going to go and rent a Nintendo game for the weekend. Mm-hmm. Yep. But this was just for some reason, I guess, what were the scenes or what stuck with you as a kid? Do you remember?
Well, that was also my introduction to Playboy.
Okay. All right.
Was that, and I, trying to find out who Shailene really was. It was uncanny. That's what the actual...
Oh, that's her. That's who the name was of the Playboy girl that everyone thought
Correct.
That
yes.
Elizabeth Shue was. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the longest time, I again thought that car dealerships used Playboys as their manifest. Essentially.
Yeah, they put all their important information in the fold out, the centerfold.
Right. And I thought it was amazing. Like actually, the reason I saw it for once, and then the reason I wanted to see it again is because in the scene where they're... I don't know if I'm jumping too far.
No, don't go ahead. Do
the
it.
scene when they're trying to escape the warehouse and shimming across the beam and the dust falls into that coffee cup.
Yes.
We had those coffee cups, and I thought that was amazing. And literally, that's my reason. I guess
there you go
for starting.
It's funny. We're doing these and watching movies, and I had that couch. Yeah, I had that clock radio from the '80s. Just stuff like that. It's funny. For me, I probably saw this once as a kid, and I definitely rented it because of the art of the VHS, the cover art. Because they're climbing up the side.
Superhero kind of look.
They're climbing up the side, Batman style, of a building on a rope. And then really not remembering much except, I remember the Chop Shop, the Playboy, and then a lot of blues singing.
Yes. No one leaves this place without singing the blues. Everyone knows that.
Oh, brother. Joe, how about you?
For me, this was... I had to call my father in on this to get extra information because this movie showed up at our house mysteriously one day in VHS form. None of us were aware of what this movie was, except for my father, apparently, who randomly purchased this while passing through Green Bay and brought it home.
Do you think he was trying to get the Playboy?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'd be a little more worried if it showed up other than VHS at this point in time.
We were just digging up, the garden, and instead of carrots, suddenly Adventures in Babysitting.
Along with 500 ET Atari cartridges. So
that would be a win.
Yeah.
And now they found those. It was real. It was so real.
So I called my dad and asked him, because none of us knew of this movie before it came to our house. And he told me, and now this is how many years apart from when it actually happened. So this could be part folklore that he was talking to people, and they were talking about this movie and that it was good.
Okay.
And then he also threw it, he might have also saw the trailer for it, which I'm like, okay. He's not a guy that I would think would see many trailers unless he's watching them on other movies. And I don't think Commando had this in the trailer section. So I queued up the trailer to look at it. Okay, now I'm starting to get... the puzzle pieces are coming together.
Yeah.
My subjective views of why my dad would want this movie are combining with what he's telling me. I'm thinking he heard it was funny, and then he saw Elizabeth Shue, and decided to make the decision off of those two pieces.
I'm not going to disagree.
So it showed up in our house, and then we watched it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, because Elizabeth Shue looks great in this movie. I mean, I hope she's older than 17, as her character is, but she probably isn't.
Well, just moving on from Danny LaRusso was a good step for her. So
yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
What?
Karate Kid.
She was in Karate Kid. She was a love interest in the first movie.
You look perplexed.
The movie
I
The
cannot
Karate
place
Kid
that.
is where...
Yes, I know. But I just can't place her in there.
See, he was from New Jersey.
Yeah.
But they move. Okay.
to the crazy world of
Can't
California.
see it. I need to watch it again so I can.
And he got beat up by skeletons, so he had to
In the
wax
shower.
on and wax
that's
off
right, they
them.
were
While he
skeletons.
was in the shower. So.
Yes, exactly.
I'm thinking Skeletor as you're saying that. I'm like, what?
Well, he'll get He-Man eventually. Don't worry about that. All right, let's get into
It
the
is a
plot.
multiverse. It's tremendous.
Ooh.
Well, okay, is Adventure in Babysitting part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Thor is there, so
Thor
I
is
would
there.
think it's
I'll
actually
say
not
no.
only that, but it's actually
He's
gonna,
actually Kingpin.
It's very much. It's going to say it's very much entrenched in Marvel lore.
It really
the
is.
fact that Thor is there, and then also later became Wilson Fisk, which is amazing.
It's great.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, let's start with the plot of Adventure in Babysitting. So it starts off Touchstone logo. So again, for me, that means it's a quality movie in my childhood. Seeing that logo for some reason means it's a stamp of quality, I guess. Anyway, but I liked the intro music that Chris is dancing to, played by Elizabeth Shue.
And then she kissed me.
Yeah, I liked
or that
it.
he kissed me, which
And
makes
then
more
he
sense
kissed
with a
me.
female voice, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I thought it was a really good, energetic opening to a movie that she's dancing around like a teenage
She's having
girl
fun
would.
with
She's
it,
having
yeah.
fun with it.
Mhm.
It's getting you like, okay, it's not bad. I don't know.
She's not wearing pants, so there's
She
that for
wasn't?
those people.
I
No,
didn't
she's
even-
just wearing a big shirt.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I guess.
She had some black tights on as well.
Okay.
Tights aren't pants.
So she's excited because she's going on a date with her boyfriend, played by Bradley Whitford.
Who's
Wilford.
20 years older than
It-
she is.
she- Minimum.
I think 5
Minimum.
years older, but he looks way
He does.
older. And
He was too cool, though. So
He
cool.
was too
So
cool.
cool. So cool.
He was so cool, and he comes in with his car, and his name is Mike, and actually that is Bradley Wilford's car.
Are you kidding me?
No, that is his actual car and his actual license plate.
Wisconsin Pride there from Madison, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, perfect. So there you
yeah.
got
He's
that
from
going.
he's from Madison.
Although my opinion is anyone who has that on their license plate
Is a douche.
is not cool at all. I have to.
Interesting.
All right.
So
That's
you're just mad from him being from Wisconsin already having the plate and you couldn't get it?
Exactly.
Okay, understood.
Understand.
I had to put 2 O's. In,
He has had 2 O's.
no, not in cool, but not in so.
Oh, no, I don't know. Maybe. My license plate recollection is not what it used to be.
Well, long story short, she's excited to go on a date. It's their anniversary or something, and he says, "I can't go to the French restaurant because my sister is sick. I hope you understand." And she tries to kiss him, and he says, "Oh nope, I'm contagious." But then still, he kisses her on the cheek anyway.
Well, he did have a small pharmaceutical bag with him to really drive the point
I
home.
guess that he can't.
So it really worked out. And, it was kind of foreshadowing because I knew right when, Billy Madison started why I hated him. It was from this movie.
Yeah, because Bradley Wilford.
It was because of
too. Yep.
Adventures Babysitting that I hated him.
There you go, tying it together. So she's depressed, and she calls her friend Brenda over to just hang out and talk. And does Brenda at this point say that she wants to run away from home?
Yes.
She
Just kind of-
she mentioned it, but she also says she's going to spike her mom's tab with Drano.
That's
And
right. How
that
dare you do that?
confused the bejesus out of me as a child, as I didn't know what that meant. I literally thought she was putting a railroad spike in her tab, and that was confusing to me. And of course, at the time, I was more or less going, well, doesn't tab just give you cancer anyway? So it's all irrelevant.
So delicious and terrible.
Now, meanwhile, at my age, I wasn't aware of tab, so I didn't know what she meant by tab. So I knew what Drano was.
But you didn't know what tab was.
Didn't
as
know
a
what
drink.
tab was, so I kept trying to imagine what this thing was that she was going to put Drano in that would cause a problem, and I couldn't figure it
You
out.
guys a fancy Royal Crown Cola family that you didn't have the tab?
Actually, kind of, yeah. Now that I think about it, there's
Very nice.
more
Yeah,
RC
Dad did.
Cola.
Dad drank some and passed out to Commando.
On VHS.
Anyway, but then the mom says, "Hey, you want to babysit tonight? I already told the Andersons you're babysitting, so actually, it's not a question. You're babysitting for the Andersons tonight." And she goes and takes her station wagon, awesome wood paneled station wagon, over to this family's house.
I gotta say though, she dresses pretty uniquely for a teenage girl in an '80s movie with that tan coat.
The tan coat's her
It was her
grandfather's.
grandfather's, but he's dead now. So.
Yeah, but and then
He didn't
has
get that
the
at
rainbow
Sears. She didn't get
scarf.
it. Yes.
And the yellow. It basically
The gloves.
usually
The gloves sold it.
The yellow gloves, yeah. It's an outfit that I wouldn't expect to see in an '80s movie that a teenage girl would be wearing, because usually they go a little bit more extreme with their outfits.
Were you disappointed in this? Or?
No,
Because-
no, I'm just saying it was it was a pleasant surprise this time around watching. Going, that is a very nice looking outfit.
And now she's wearing pants. Did that upset you? Because you seemed really hung up on the pants topic before.
No, I'm good with pants.
Okay. All right.
Now, if she would have been wearing the dress that she got dressed up in for the night out with her boyfriend and
poofy
was doing that,
shoulders.
I'd be like, that is a faux pas. That coat does not go with that dress.
That's accurate. That dress really seemingly should be like on a 4-year-old. That's like a dress you find, in the clearance section at Target to give to your child to go to church. That's pretty specific.
Man,
Moving
you guys
on.
are you guys are being bitches.
It's so catty down here,
So we're meeting the other family, the Andersons. We have a guy with a weird hair, little kid. I can't find his name in my notes. Brad.
Yeah.
Brad's brother.
Why
and
does
then
he have weird hair?
He just has weird
80s hair.
dumb 80s hair, kind of poofy in the back and weird
It
bangs.
seems
I don't know.
not-
I remember that as a kid. Just
Was it
look at
because it
this
was
kid.
red? Is that why?
No, that's the other kid. That's Daryl. That's Brad's
Both
friend.
I think they
were
And
both
he's
pretty
They were both
redheaded.
kind of redheads.
Why are you racist like that? It's
Hey, it gotta be,
unbelievable.
Sarah is she's a younger sister. She's
Also
rolling around she's roller skating, and she's always wearing a Thor helmet because she loves Thor. Go up into her room, and she has Thor stuff everywhere, and including, I think, my favorite monster. If you remember that toy,
I remember the toy. I don't remember seeing
It had
it.
the handcuffs that
yeah,
were broken.
the
Okay.
orange
Yep.
handcuffs
The
with
purple
the
looking-
purple blue
Yep, I gotcha.
monster thing. Yep.
And by far, she's the best character of the movie.
Yes.
Consistently.
Yes, she absolutely loves Thor. Brother says he's a homo. You take that back.
You take that back, Brad.
You take that back, Brad.
You take that back, and I'm going to tell Chris about all the poems you write about her.
Yeah, and then Chris is standing right behind her because Brad is a freshman. I think we find that later on,
Yeah.
and Chris is a senior
At Hemingway High, by the way.
at Hemingway High. Yeah, because somebody wears a jacket.
He's got the letter
He
coat.
wears a letter coat.
Well, a coat, no letter, so sans letter.
Yeah, he's just a freshman. So yeah, Brad is infatuated with Chris. The family, the mother and father of the Andersons are leaving for a gala tonight in.
Not well
In the big
explained,
city.
but
No,
they must have just built that building, and
Yes.
they're having a party there to celebrate that they're finishing it up.
We'll get into that
Yeah,
part too.
anyway.
Yeah, I won't say anything yet. But yeah, they're wearing. The mom is wearing this terrible
80s dress.
80s gold dress. If we're gonna get back to fashion,
I believe it was LeMay.
I don't think we're going to leave.
is that her name? Wait,
No, Gold LeMay.
Gold LeMay. Sorry, I didn't know if her name was also LeMay.
A little ironic twist. Yes, it was.
Maybe. Okay. Wait, no. It wasn't.
No.
Anyway, so they're leaving. The reason why Brad, for some reason, isn't going to be there taking care of Sarah is he's going to hang out with his other friend Daryl. Okay,
Or his other
other friend
Daryl.
Daryl. There it is. And the mom says, "Oh, it's good that you're here, Chris, because Sarah had a cold, and you have to make sure she takes her cold medicine, which she never ever coughs or shows that she's sick ever in the entire movie.
It's a very effective medicine.
It's just really good. Whatever. They're gonna be the parents are leaving. They'll be coming back at 1:00 in the morning. So now Brad is no longer going to leave because Chris is there, and then Daryl sneaks around the house in the windows, and he's a creepy ginger trying to break into their house, seeing what's happening.
You can just say Ginger. The other part's implied.
fair enough. Actually, true.
always trying to fight to keep him out of the house.
That's right.
Yep. Just like a zombie or a raptor trying to get in.
And Sarah did mention that it was a stray dog at the back door, by the way. So
That's right. She did say
Yep.
that. But then she gets a phone call from Brenda, and she's trapped in the downtown, in the city. I think that's all they refer to. It is Chicago.
It is, yeah.
But it's always referred to as the city or downtown.
In the city.
is that in the ghetto? Did you in the ghetto? In the
I think that's
city?
what he's trying to do.
Wow. Is this more of an uplifting tale about families striving in the downtown urban environment?
Yes.
It's amazing.
So Brenda's freaking out. She's in the bus station in the city, downtown, and there's a creepy old hobo man, which would have been played by Joe, or
Yes.
in the remake will be played
Yes.
by Joe.
Oh, sorry. It's already been remade.
Son of a bee.
It does. It's on Disney. It's
It's on
last
Disney?
year.
totally not worth watching.
I watched the trailer for it.
Oh,
Oh, my God,
man.
it looks horrible.
I watched the movie. It is not a.
No.
It is not.
No.
Let's just, the term "shot for shot" remake. This would not apply.
So Gus Van Sant's and direct that? for
No,
the-
completely different concept, but for no reason whatsoever. Vincent D'Onofrio is in the background. Very strange. Anyway,
Mother of God. Okay. So yeah, Brenda is crying, asking, I need to get you to pick me up, basically, and she can't because I'm babysitting. Well, then she says, okay. She basically says, okay, I'm going to leave, get in the car. The kids say, well, we're going to come with you. They blackmail her. We say, we'll tell mom that you left us alone. So we want to go to the city too because it's exciting, I guess. In the city. There you go. It works. And they all get in there, and then creepy Daryl comes in and he says things, and he's annoying to me. And
Annoying and creepy. yeah.
Just, I really didn't like this character at all. I know why he's there,
Why is he there?
to be annoying.
he pretty much was.
Yeah.
I thought he played his role well, which was Anthony Rapp, by the way. If you didn't know, that's who that played the part.
Rent. Everybody has
Yes,
AIDS. There we go.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. There you go.
I didn't realize that was him.
Hit that or Road Trip, I think was the other one he was in, the big one. But yeah,
Hey.
Those are the only ones. Okay. He's the guy with the glasses in that movie, that musical Rent.
yeah.
There's
He was one of the writers and creators that,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This
Good,
guy,
Good
this
for
kid.
him.
right? He's come a long way from Hemingway High. So
From this, yes.
that was in the city.
So he blackmails Chris also that they're all going to go in the station wagon to the city to pick up Brenda. Hooray, we're having fun. They're in the car, and Daryl has snuck a Playboy underneath in his Hemingway jacket. Is he wearing the
No,
Hemingway, or is
Brad
that
had it.
Brad has a jacket?
Yeah, he had a blue coat with like a gray hoodie underneath it. Moving on.
Moving on.
And he was wearing pants.
Which, yes,
Thank goodness.
remember
As they're
that.
driving, yeah, Chris is in front seat, so is Sarah, and he's showing Brad. Doesn't this look like Chris? The first instant of the centerfold Playboy Playmate looking like Chris. Now, I didn't notice. Is it actually Elizabeth Shue?
No,
Okay.
It's
But they do look alike.
it is similar.
They do look
and
similar.
trust me, I looked really close.
Okay.
But Brad's reaction to Chris looking back is so over the top that it's throwing the Playboy out the window.
Yeah, that's right. He just grabs it and throws it out the
That would
window.
make more of a scene than just dropping it. Or
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, she doesn't catch on. She's just like, whatever, he just threw something out the window. It could have been a cat. I don't know.
She has
Driving
to
on.
continue on her story about the man with the hook. So
Oh, that's right.
Very
We'll do that.
important.
And one important thing, because we talked about how cool Sarah is, when they're getting in the car and Daryl shows up, Sarah says, "Let's all get in the car and run him over." Yeah, that's exactly right, Sarah. That's what we should have done. But yes, now we're in the car driving, and Chris is telling the hook story to Sarah, she's not scared. She's just more interested in yay,
She's
somebody
doing something. That's the whole
Yeah.
attitude to everything. It doesn't matter if it's bad or good. Something's happening, and that's awesome because her life apparently is not awesome at home, which I don't buy at all.
I don't buy that at all either.
But she thinks everything is awesome.
Yeah, she starts saying that pretty quickly as they're a blowout, and they're weaving back and forth on the interstate, and that's one thing that was kind of annoying, but it's also a 80s trope of little kids saying, "This is awesome," during a dangerous
Radical.
scene. Like, "This was fun, let's do that again," type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's just the writing for those type of characters. They are now stuck, and if they had cell phones or OnStar, they wouldn't have no problems getting...
The hell was their problem? I mean,
well,
It was in the 80s.
wood panel station wagon was not equipped with OnStar at the
At the time,
yes.
they didn't have cell phones. All she had was a checkbook because she forgot her purse because she left in a hurry.
no, she didn't have the checkbook, though.
I thought she didn't have
she
that
didn't
either.
have the
Oh, no,
checkbook,
that's
no.
it. Never mind. You're right. And there's no spare in the spare tire hole area.
And then JP rolls up.
Yep, Jurassic Park. That's what I thought at first. But what's his name? Justin
Pruitt?
Justin Pruitt. Yeah. Nice guy
JP
comes out.
Pruitt?
Yes.
So what was the P?
I don't know.
Jason Pruitt?
That's what he called himself, though.
Yeah, true. He comes in with his truck, and it's a bearded guy, and he's laughing like, "Oh."
Well, he was
He's-
whistling his little tune.
He was acting a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But he still seemed like a nice guy, and he's just asking the questions, and they are freaking out when they realize he has a hook for a hand.
He's going to scrape their faces off.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're not really talking. They're acting kind of freaked out by him, and he's just kind of asking questions. "Here, I'll help you out." And then finally, Chris snaps out of being scared and acts appropriately and talks to him.
And he accurately understands that you're probably from the suburbs.
"You one of them. You ain't no city folk."
No.
So we get introduced to him. Nice guy, and they all get into his truck, and he works for Dawson's garage. And he's going to tow them. She explains, "I don't have money. I'll pay you back." He's like, "Don't worry about it. What am I going to do? Leave you kids out here in the freeway? That wouldn't be right. That's not what JP is all about."
No.
And he starts towing them back to the garage. But then over the CB, he gets a distress call from a friend that his wife is with that guy. The car is in front.
Introduction to Vincent D'Onofrio there. That was him. On the,
Oh, that was him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it was Dawson here. What is it?
I
Yeah.
didn't even miss that.
And then he
Okay.
goes, "Just drove by your house." He goes, "What did you see?" He goes, "You're not going to like it. What did you see?"
Yeah. The car is in the front again.
Yeah.
And now JP just starts driving crazy, and everyone's screaming. But of course, Sarah says, "This is great."
Well, when they did mention,
I was rolling my
when,
eyes.
when Daryl and Brad were discussing, they said, "Do you think he keeps his hand in the glove box?"
Oh, yeah.
Because then he goes, "Open up the glove box," and then Daryl covers his eye. Or yes, Daryl comes out.
Yeah.
He goes, "What is it?" He goes, "Is it a hand?
No.
It's a gun." Oh God!
Oh God! And this is what I thought when I first saw him watch this again: is He probably lost that hand in Nam, and then they go in the car and say, "Where'd you lose your hand? In Nam? No, I lost it. How did you lose it? Just it got smushed by another
car that was up on a jack.
Fell down and
collapsed.
smushed
So
it.
yeah.
Do you
Popped
still have?
right off.
Yeah, and that's right. Do you still have the hand? Yeah. Okay. Hey, they get to his wife's house, and they have a fight.
Gunshots.
Shootout with porno stash.
Yeah, some
jumping out the window.
Punch out
no
the
pants,
window.
by the way.
Yes.
Hey, all right, no pants again.
You have to keep track of this. This is important.
That's 2 people without pants.
Won't be the last.
Mm-hmm. But Pruitt is rightfully angry and struggling with his wife and trying to still shoot this guy who's running away without pants. And they jump into that guy's car, who happens to also have been
in the process of being
carjacked.
A very important person to jump in here was the fact that JP's gun did go off and put a hole in the windshield of the station wagon. It's a very key, pivotal role or part here.
It does get mentioned back, but yeah, it is. No, it's not. So now they're in this other guy's car, and it's getting hot-wired by
Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs? Joe Gibb.
It was Gibb. Yeah.
It was Joe Gibb. Yep. And he just kind of looks at him, and they freak out, and Chris says something like, and she always calls everybody sir. They seem to be around the same age.
That's very proper.
I guess. And, sir, don't hurt us. Could you just drop us off over here? And he says, can't. I'll get you safe. Don't worry about it. And he's a really nice guy, but they realize that he's actually working for a chop shop. And so they drive into a garage. Actor guy that I've recognized in other movies is there, and he gets mad because he has the Brady Bunch, as he says.
The slow-talking villain guy?
Not that guy. That's the main guy. It's the other guy who punches Joe for bringing the Brady Bunch in.
Right. Yep.
But because there's one bad guy and then more greasy Italian-looking older guy, I guess, if that's one way of describing people.
I see. All right.
Okay. I mean, generalizations exist for a reason.
Right. Like redheads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody knows. Oh, he's red. Oh, he's a redhead. Ew,
Yeah. It's creepy.
Jeez, has no soul. Anyway, so now all these kids are in a chop shop in a criminal organization, and they get in this big warehouse, and they get put into this office room
to be taken care of later
because they have an important meeting right now because they've got to talk about who gets what car in Philadelphia or Cincinnati, but nobody likes Cincinnati because they did something bad.
They didn't pay up or something.
Doesn't like matter.
In chop shops, don't they take apart cars?
Yeah, usually, but here they're because when you first
putting them back together.
I like when the garage door first opens up. It was more of a sparkle factory than it was them cutting anything. They're just making sparks, whatever.
It's a nice fanfare for when you enter.
It is. Just wait for the remake with J.J. Abrams and the lens flares. It'll be tremendous.
Yeah. So then all the kids are up there. They're trying to figure out what to do, and Daryl finds that exact same Playboy and yoinks it. No one else notices that he takes it. And that's when he knows, hey, we can climb up through a vent that's opening to the roof of this place here and go across those beams that you mentioned earlier. It's a tightrope.
And no one notices he now has a magazine the size of a small box in his shirt.
Yep.
That
nobody noticed it.
Or cares that he stuffed something on him.
Well, when he grabs it, the viewer could see that there was stuff written on it in magic marker or whatever. In Sharpie. Joe notices that, hey, they're trying to escape, and he smiles like, well, that's probably good because I won't have to clean up their bodies after they probably would have gotten murdered, which is good.
Yes.
In a way. So they're going across these metal beams.
But in many other ways, not so good.
But not so good. Also true. They escape. They get outside. The Italian boss guy says something like, hey, go and get our notes. And he says, oh, I was borrowing it up in the room before.
He was whacking it.
Go away, Baton. But he goes upstairs and he can't find the Playboy. And then he realizes, oh, the kids aren't even in here either. Also a bad thing. And so they put 2 and 2 together. Or 1 and 2. It's probably 2 and 2.
Well,
kids escaped and took
So it'd be 4 and 1 and 1 because, it depends. What are we adding?
Go on.
Okay. They make it outside.
Sure they do. They make it outside, and they know that they have the Playboy that has their important notes that will incriminate them about their car theft, whatever,
and rebuilding of cars for no
reason
whatsoever.
So they have a little bit of a chase, and then the kids they go into a blues club,
the Silver Dollar.
Oh, I didn't notice.
I remembered that because there was a silver dollar in the middle of nowhere outside of Pulaski.
Okay. Wait, what's that?
Wait.
Hold on.
How does that?
Wait.
I don't get how this ties in.
It just helped me remember it because I was like, what the hell is this place out here in the middle of nowhere? Mm-hmm. It was called the Silver Dollar. I'm like, all right.
Could you leave it without singing the blues?
I didn't go in it.
Okay, that's a good way to avoid it.
And that's what happens here is they're on stage, and it's very quiet for, I think, too long in the movie, as the entire crowd is just standing there looking at these kids. The band is looking at these kids, and they're said, "Oh, I'm sorry for being here, sir, but we have to leave." And that's when...
Again, with the politeness. Was dropping the
very
sirs
polite.
in there.
Yep, sir. In this one, the head singer says nobody leaves without singing the blues. So now they have to sing this stupid baby blues song. That's
the worst part of the movie.
I really dislike this part of the movie.
It's the babysitting blues.
Babysitting blues.
Underrated.
It was underrated. Oh, you enjoyed? Did you actually like it?
No, it was.
As an adult?
It was. There's zero chance
baby
that would have happened. I mean, that was no.
And we're home. We should be in bed.
That's right.
And all the kids sing it back up.
It all of a sudden became the whiz, and it was strange how we're just all on the same page with this song. You know, it's like
very much so.
Just,
it does not hold up anymore, and Chris is really getting into it and singing some blues stuff, and the crowd gets into it, and you're just wondering, why? You should be booing. But it's a good distraction for all the bad guys come in and try seeing them, and they can't. They basically get danced their way out of this club.
Yeah.
And then that's when the blues singer stops the bad guys and says, nobody leaves without singing the blues. And then he would have got shot in the fucking face.
That, and plus, when they get out of this place, and the next time they see the bad guys chasing them, is such a short window of time that they sang the blues for so much longer that obviously the next blues song that was sung by the bad guys was like, we got the blues. All right, we're fucking out of here.
See, now, if this would have, as we've established, this was on VHS, but if had this been on a DVD, having the specialty cuts, if we would have been able to see their version of the blues,
what would be their version of the blues? I still think it would have been a shot to the face.
A gun would have been involved.
A gun would have been involved.
So you would have had a scary, slow-talking villain, the larger, I don't know, goon, we'll say. He's
middle management.
Middle goon, and then
the guy who was whacking it, and then Joe Gipp. And, so their little trio would have been entertaining, to say the least. They did they really Blues Brothers their way out of it, where they had the band keep playing as they kind of slowly moseyed off.
They moved in a
That's
in a
pretty
line.
much how they made their grand escape. Sorry to jump back to that. But you're right. It was all of like 8 seconds later, like they're caught again.
Yeah,
it was the equivalent of pulling up to a stop sign and then just going and and then the criminals behind you just yielded instead. It's like, oh, well, here we are, 2 seconds later.
And nothing really of progress in the story happened in that time, so it's just kind of like a pit stop and
That's
keep
really all it
going.
was.
Well,
and I talked to someone at work about that scene, and they suggested maybe that guy in the band was well known.
That's what I was. Yeah,
his name is Albert Collins, and he really wasn't that well known of a blues guy.
He wasn't really well known, but the way he put it was like, well, maybe they just had him for the weekend, and we're like, dude, we have this guy. We're going to put him in this movie. We're going to do this. And then they did it, and it didn't quite fit with everything.
We haven't mentioned Brenda because it kind of cuts back and forth, and she's still stuck at the bus station. And so a little bit of random adventures with the homeless, I guess.
She's lost her glasses at this point.
Yeah, she's watching the Brady Bunch on TV. And I remember those, where you have the little chairs and you put a quarter in, you can watch television
six
for
seconds of television.
Yeah, 2 minutes of television. And she falls asleep, and the homeless lady basically swaps glasses with her, so now she can't see anything. There's a scene where she thinks she finds a white kitty, and then the two janitors are like, put that giant city rat down, and it's a cute white rat.
Right,
and you got the guy with the gun that's always proud to show her his
gun. And I had the old guy earlier that the phone booth was his home. That's his house.
Get out of my house.
And to quickly jump back with the TVs there for people who don't understand what these things used to be. It was essentially the Neo Geo of televisions.
What's a Neo Geo?
Oh, good Lord. It's the same time frame. You drop in a quarter and you're like, this is amazing. Look at all the selections. Now it's done.
Yep. Yeah.
Unless you purchased a Neo Geo and took it home with you.
You still had to rig it up. Otherwise, you had 3 minutes of playtime.
No.
You just push the button again. Got to figure that out.
So poor Brenda is just freaking out and crying as she has to deal with all these scary homeless people that are there in the bus station.
This is
because she
just the
doesn't
progress to her becoming a creepy homeless person, but that doesn't quite happen. But anyway, go on.
leave. Does it?
Underrated, by the way, is Brenda's amazing 80s look with the dangly
does have
earrings,
very
ponytail,
80s, yes.
Yeah.
with the scrunchie and the glasses and everything. Well,
Yeah, and she's
no glasses
rocking-
at this point, and pants.
Yeah, she's got
Go back
that.
to
You
the pants.
can't run away from home without pants or some type of warm, like if you had a kilt, a tartan kilt, like from Scotland, I think you'd be all right because that's like 10 yards of fabric. So at that point, pants aren't as needed, but pants.
Huh.
I did not know that. I feel better now.
Hey, back to the movie. So, where are they? They're on the docks, the pier area,
Yeah, they're just
whatever.
walking.
And Daryl is talking to a hooker, or
Yes.
something like that.
And she really likes him, by the
You
way.
really trying to get a date,
It's yeah.
and then they come up. How old are you? I'm 17. Oh, the city's terrible. They're the same age as me.
I don't
And-
think she was 17.
No, wait. How do you know? Are you her pimp?
I'm.
She wasn't wearing pants.
If I were her pimp, I would be agreeing that she was 17.
You're a.
I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes. His shiny red shoes.
You have a envisioned character for this already, don't you?
Well, you put it on me.
Mr. Red Shoes, Senior Red Shoes.
Okay.
All right. Any
I envisioned white patent leather.
good work. And
That would be the pants.
Yes. Oh, very nice. And he had a name like cool pimp name like Alabaster or something, you know.
I know I'm trying. I know I'm trying to stay on track for the plot of this movie, but I am uninterested in the plot of this movie. Because this time around, as an adult, I really am. I don't care of what's happening. I think they get on a train next, right? Maybe
The subway. Yes.
they get on the L.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Whatever. They jump it, and they're being chased by the bad guys. They don't make it, and now they're just hanging out in this train. And the entire time, Chris is being kind of hit on by Brad, or in a way. He's just kind of mentioning that he likes
Yeah.
her, and like you're really smart.
You shouldn't be dating an
You shouldn't be
asshole. You should be dating some guy like me.
Yeah, you shouldn't be dating Mike because he beat me up for no reason. He's really actually a jerk. And she's like, no, he's not a jerk. He's a really nice guy. Then there's two gangs that come into the
Sharks
subway.
and the tents.
The tents? The jets?
Yes.
Yes.
One of them I know is the Lords of Hell,
Yep.
and
And you know they're tough because they all have switchblades, and one of them calls the other one mocoso, which is Spanish for basically you have boogers. Yeah. They're
dude.
I
tough,
thought the fishnet meant they were bad.
That's also
Bad dudes.
Another indication of the bad dudes, bad hombres. But Chris, because this is a kids movie, they don't get slashed to death or whatever. She stands in their way and tells them that they're jerks or something. I don't remember.
That was Brad that did that.
Brad. Oh yeah, Brad stands up for like I'll stop you. Oh, that's right. Chris says knock it off. They call her a bitch. Brad steps in and says don't call her that.
Don't mess with the bitch, Brad.
That's a good line.
Thank you.
And then the guy just throws his knife and hits Brad in the leg, and then toe,
Goes right in the
and then
toe.
grabs it and then slashes his face open, blood everywhere.
And then starts eating.
Yep, that's when RoboCop comes in and he starts shooting everybody, like dead or alive, you're coming with me.
I think that was a different in the city. So-
Wish this was a better movie.
But then you did get to learn some of the geography of Chicago as they're going back
yeah.
and forth on the streets as what's coming up because they're turf war.
It's a turf war. So that one we just went past Jackson.
Here comes Devereaux.
Here comes Devereaux.
And then
They get off the train.
She said.
Hell.
Then the bad guys yell, "Don't fuck with the Lords of Hell." She pulls the knife out of his foot and says, "Don't fuck with the babysitter."
Very good. And now they go to a frat house because Sarah has to pee.
Yep.
And this is
Proper
where,
place to go for a child.
yeah, any place you're going to a frat house.
They wouldn't have to go
But it's
inside. There are shrubberies outside.
Yes, you could just quickly do your business. But no, she wants to go in there. Actually, Daryl runs it right away first to get in there because he's a kid that wants beer.
Well, he didn't get anywhere with the hooker, so he
No,
had to go for college girls
College
instead.
girl, exactly.
Right.
They get in there, and this frat party has another bluesy jazz band there.
Yeah.
South Street something or other.
And the guy looked like a really bad
Huey.
combination between Phil Collins and Gerard Depardieu.
Okay, wow. Didn't know his nose is that bad.
I think it was the hair.
It was
It was
hair.
probably the hair.
Yeah.
So there's just live music going on, and then we're introduced to this other guy named Dan, and he's just a creepy motherfucker to me.
He comes off as creepy.
Creepy,
Yeah.
dead eyes, I'll call him.
There you go.
Well, wasn't he wearing like khakis and a Cosby sweater to
He
a frat
was.
party? So
He
that's
was.
and then a jacket over the Cosby sweater.
And his
So-
his two other friends are like, "Hey, it's that Playboy playmate. That's her. She came here. What? Of course." Dan says, "What would she be doing here?" He goes over and talks to her, and they hit it off right away. Apparently, the other kids have left. Daryl is trying to drink popcorn, and then that's when a college girl grabs him, and they start making out in the corner.
And then the dude who thought she looked like lady realized, hey, that Ginger's making out with my lady.
Yeah, that towards the end of the But the best scene is because Sarah has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
She's waiting in line, and then she sees another guy comes out. He's wearing a horned hat of some kind, and they just look at each other, nod, give the thumbs
little
up.
nod,
That was very good. Respect.
I didn't get that because I didn't know what Loki looked like earlier in life. Now I do. Then I'm
That
like,
could have been
that
Loki.
must have been Loki.
That could have been.
That's
Sure,
how
why
I
not?
took it.
So, well, her being child Thor, they were still friends at that point.
Exactly.
Makes
That's what he's
sense,
saying. Yeah, they're still friends. So Deadeyes they go and dance, and he says something like, "Hey, you're doing a really good job getting these. You've gotten these kids all the way this far in the city. How does he know what's going on?"
I'm assuming they had a longer conversation off
'Cause
camera.
My fan theory is he's actually J.P. Pruitt's son, right? I know.
No, JP wouldn't allow this guy. No,
I don't know.
he would have disowned him.
All right, well, it's possible.
Or
maybe it wasn't his.
It wasn't
was
his.
Portal
That-
Stash.
That's what it is. Yep. That's what I was thinking about. It's not his. Tie them together. Oh, I forgot. They went to the hospital. That was the
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
because
Got the
then
one stitch.
you get the one
One
stitch. Oh,
stitch.
dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the Indian
Who's
doctor.
your friend here? The one with the knife wound? Oh dear,
Oh, dear.
your friend
Because
is dead. And then
yeah,
she
because
passes
somebody
out.
else, a nurse says, the other guy with the stab wounds died, so when the kids come in and ask,
Oh,
hey,
you-
where's our friend? Oh, I'm sorry, he died.
You also got a rehash of J.P. Pruitt running from the police
Yes.
for no
He's-
reason
'cause
whatsoever.
he's
caught
there.
up with them at that same hospital.
He went to hospital because they
And
had
the guy
a fight.
and-
Yep, both of
so
them.
the porno stash was there bleeding, getting
Yes.
pulled out from cops. Going, those are the kids. Those stole my car. They stole my car.
And that's why I forgot is because then JP says, "Oh, your car is back at Dawson's garage. I fixed everything. I fixed the windshield that I shot the hole in with the gun,
See,
pistol.
came back.
But you're gonna have to pay for the tire, which is still $50.
Yep.
Talk to Dawson. I gotta go run it from the feds.
Not bad for a tire, honestly. $50 ain't
It
bad.
was the
then,
80s. That's expensive.
Okay, I guess.
Yep, exactly. So back to the party. That's when she asks, "Well, I need $50," and he comes and he gets 45, whatever.
I still think that's on the creepy side.
It is.
That he's getting cash to try to buy this girl
It was
her favor.
It was an investment,
it kind of was, and
pretty much a
eventually,
down payment. You
and
know?
it eventually pay off later on.
Spoiler.
Oh, I spoiled.
Anyway,
Anyway, yes,
Who's gonna walk in here and go, man, I haven't seen the end of that yet. Are you kidding me? I got this thing on VHS that some dude just dropped off in my yard in the garden, and we just.
It was Joe's
yeah,
dad.
It was.
he didn't want it
he
anymore.
plants it out all over the place.
Yep.
Now you can enjoy.
It's like a bad Jumanji ripoff. Or like some kids find this VHS tape pulsating in a construction site.
Yeah, so Dan's other friend gets mad at the kid for making out with his girlfriend, then they leave the party, and Dan takes him in his awesome Jeep.
Renegade.
Yes.
Was it a Renegade?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty cool Jeep to Dawson's garage. And while they're driving there, we get a little bit of the interlude of Rolling Stones. Is it Gimme Shelter?
Yes.
They were hearing that? Like, pretty good music.
Yeah.
I mean, a step up from the blues and the
The cheap, lame blues.
Gerard
and-
Depardieu singing.
That's probably why I was, good music now. Cool. This is great. But
now they roped you back in.
I'm not
Fully
back
vested.
in.
I'm all in.
fully
Chips
now.
in on
And
this
what's going to
one.
happen? Well, actually, yes, because of what happens next. Dan drops him off, and how do I repay you later on, Chris? See ya, bye, don't worry about it. You could exchange phone numbers and addresses, but that doesn't happen, and Dan just leaves. Whatever, they go into Dawson's garage, and it's dripping water everywhere. It's dark. There's no lights on, and they're just kind of huddled together, a little bit afraid, and then we're introduced.
So it's pretty much like every villain's sci-fi spaceship that's just wet and dark for no reason whatsoever.
What is it dripping?
Well, it's under an overpass. That's part of the
this
reason.
One, sure, yeah.
Okay. The spaceship?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
hiding in plain sight.
Because then Thor comes down from a lift in the dark, and he's holding a fairly large hammer. It's Thor.
Right.
Thor comes down.
You do get the irony of that, where he has a large hammer that would destroy a car, where he's a place that puts cars back together, but the chop shop, where they would destroy things, was putting things back together.
That's awesome. But what was Thor doing? Okay, his name's not Thor. It's Dawson, and it's played by
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio, yeah. Tall, very muscular looking.
Long, flowing blonde hair.
Wig.
What?
We all know.
And
Vincent D'Onofrio doesn't have hair.
What? Okay. But wasn't this right around the time of Full Metal Jacket where he was playing fairly heavy?
He was Pyle. He was
Pyle. So he lost that weight. I think it was a year or maybe in the same year.
This was 87? Adventures was 87?
87 Adventures Babysitting, I think 87 also, or 86 for...
Doesn't mean that they were shot consecutively.
True, but
too soon to say.
What
Vince
I'm saying
D'Onofrio
is
shot in Full Metal Jacket. I mean, that's just
spoilers. Come on, people.
Oh, we'll get you soap party later.
Wow,
I like parties.
Buckle up.
Parties. But he comes down and he realizes that these are the kids and they want the car that he repaired. She only gives him $45, and he gets kind of pissed off at them that he's not going to give him the keys to the car until Sarah, who is now, she has been talking. Oh, you are Thor. You're here. Oh, you're in disguise. I see. You're undercover right now. That's cool. That's why you're. And then when Dawson gets angry, he says, "Oh, you're not acting right because you're not wearing one of these." And she hands him a helmet, and his little heart melts. The little kid's being awesome,
as she's one to do.
And he does then agree that, okay, 45 is good enough. Here are the keys. Get out of here.
Tosses back the helmet. Yep. I got one at home.
Very good line.
Yes, very nice.
Mm-hmm. And
I took that to mean he was Thor when I was younger. I don't take that to mean that now. See, I think he's just a cosplayer.
How dare you? That is Thor.
Nope.
What? No, I thought the same thing as a kid too. Okay, that is no. But and then as an adult, it's still Thor. I'm sticking with it.
Okay, you can. You have the poor man's Thor then. Poor man's Chicago Thor.
He's Chicago Thor right now. Mm-hmm.
Well, the last thing we know was Wilson Fisk was in prison, played by Vince D'Onofrio, and now in Ragnarok that's coming up, they're going to have the whole imprisoned gladiator thing. So,
yeah,
I guess we'll see.
I just realized something. So in the darkness, when they come in there, Vincent D'Onofrio is up high and he's facing a wall. Do you think he was just staring at a white wall?
Waiting for someone to come in.
Just like Kingpin. He's just staring at it. And so that's because what was he doing up there?
You can see the flashbacks of just beating the ever-living shit out of his dad.
So the hammer, he's just hitting the wall.
The hammer again. Oh my God.
See? Everything's tied together. Spoilers for
for a lot of everything. Pretty much everything Marvel. Don't watch Netflix for a while, people.
No, don't watch Iron Fist.
I have not yet.
Don't. You do and don't.
But mostly don't.
Just go through it because stuff ties together. But
so you're saying in the whole Marvel Netflix collective universe,
sure,
Iron Fist is the blues part of the movie?
when you use a perfect logic like that, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
But you have to watch it because no one leaves this place without singing the blues?
Well, I'm just saying Gerard Depardieu may or may not show up. Stay tuned.
You gotta wait till the last episode to find out.
The very last episode. And there is no skipping ahead. Where the hell are we in this movie? They drive back. They pick up Brenda.
They got the car back.
They pick up Brenda.
Yep.
She's safe.
She got her glasses back.
She stole them. And everybody's running around chasing her. And she gets in the car. And they drive back. Oh, no. Wait. The kid. We
skipped a lot.
We skipped a whole bunch of stuff.
So she jumps out of the car because she sees the toy store. She had the donut. Where did she get the donut from?
Drew, take over.
No, I'm honestly, where did she get the donut from? Because she had the donut. She had the chocolate donut on her hands. They saw the chocolate on the door at the...
Yeah, okay.
See, that's what confused me because I was like, what the hell is that on the buttons? I didn't get it. And why does that denote she's on one of those two floors?
Wait a minute. They didn't have any money and she got a fucking donut. Where did this come from?
if she was like me as a kid, I had the balls to walk up to windows and be like, "Do you have anything for free?" And they would give you shit for free if you were cute enough.
Were you like a bear in a cartoon seeing a pie on a windowsill?
Okay. Wow.
Thanks, Aunt B.
That's amazing. All right, I remember what happened. Okay, so they don't get. They stop. They're driving back, and they all see so cool license plate.
Oh
they
my
stop
God,
and they
that's
go.
right.
They go,
Yep.
and she says, "That's a French restaurant. Mike was supposed to take me to."
Chocolate eclair, isn't it? It's not a
Yeah, she
donut at
stole
all.
it.
And
Damn it.
that's where she
Son of
gets
a
the eclair from, because they go into the French restaurant. That's when Sarah grabs it. She saw the toy place shop, so she goes over there. They have a whole encounter between Mike and she. He has been cheating on with a floozy because he wants to get laid, because he says something like your legs are closed all the time and something
Locked at the knees.
locked
And
at
he
the
did
knees,
drop
something
the
like that.
"you're one in a million," and then she walks up maybe twice in one night. Boom! Mic drop right there.
Yep.
Which we skipped over that first part.
Yep.
So
Yeah, well,
we
but
did.
it's a callback that
It's a callback.
wasn't called the first time.
And it really didn't land.
But then so Brad with the "I'm not going to punch you because I'm
I'm
bigger
too
than
good.
you,"
A
and
nonsense speech.
then,
that
and then
is in
Daryl
movies.
drops the "but I'm not" and cold cocks the bastard. So
He kicks him in the butt from behind. It would have been
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike falls into a bunch of stuff and they all run away. So this is when the bad guys have caught up with them. They see Sarah and they start chasing her into. And then Sarah's just running. She realizes that she goes into their parents' building because it's this special looking.
It's actually a building
I-
from San Francisco that they
It
put
is.
into
Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the building, but it's got that angled side. And either
it's an
they made
angled
it to
side
look
is the-
exactly like it, or they just transposed it from one city to another.
So they're chasing Sarah into this building that's still kind of under construction, and that's when she goes into the elevator and with her sticky chocolate fingers, pushes two buttons. And so that's
Still,
when
they didn't see her steal that dessert, so how would they know that
kids
was
are
her?
always covered in goo. Is my logic. Would that be
Okay.
accurate, Drew?
Drew would know.
I mean, you have
I'd say
three
it's
girls, so
pretty much specifically chocolate goo.
chocolate,
on the hands,
chocolate goo.
Right.
And then the kids are the other kids, Chris and Daryl and Brad. Where'd she go? Hey, probably those toys. Hey, she's not here. She's probably at my
The
parents'
building.
building over there.
Makes
Whatever.
no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. But that's where they all go to.
Actually, it does make sense because earlier in the film, when they're driving in prior to the tire being blown, she pointed at the building and says that's where Thor lives. So when they see the building, they specifically even say, make mention. They even made mention to the fact that this is where she would go because she knows it's safe. Granted, she saw Thor somewhere else, so that should have probably
Yes.
put a a spot in that theory that that's not accurate. He does not live there. He lives under a bridge in a sweaty spaceship. However,
Yes.
they saw that ship and goes, that's where she's
right.
going to be, because they also knew that's where the parents were.
Boom. Mic
In
drop.
that shot, though, where she points randomly at Chicago and says that's where Thor lives, one, they say the city is where Thor lives. Two, the building that's in that shot that they give of the city has the Sears Tower in it. So if
Willis Tower.
Willis Tower.
Willis,
Come on.
yeah, but I don't call it that because I don't change ever. It's still the Tower Drive Bridge. But anyway,
That's
so
I agree.
the Sears Tower is there, so immediately everyone looks at that, and we assume she's pointing at that, not this building that I'm pretty sure doesn't exist in Chicago.
Both of your arguments are valid because, yes, they set it up, but also it's not that good of a movie.
Damn it! This is worth arguing about.
There are forums, just people just dying over this.
Really getting into it.
Right?
I know. So the bad guys chase the girl, but they split up because there's two buttons that were pushed. One goes into the parents' actual party that's still going on, and the other one goes into the movie Die Hard
Yes.
because it's still under construction up there,
And I have
that's
to
where
say,
Sarah goes to.
Holy crap, they are installing a ton of fucking phone lines on that
So many
floor.
phone lines,
I
yeah.
saw so many data phone line thing drops, and I'm like, oh my god, how many
Yep.
desks are going to be on this floor? Too many. Too many.
Too many.
The fire chief is going to come through and shut that place down. Let's go on.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
I have zero
Besides,
reaction to
I
that.
really don't know what to say, but you have.
I mean, if you think about the times, the fight over between AT&T and MCI on who's going to be your long distance provider was very ravenous at the time. It just wouldn't stop.
But how does that play into the times? they were still very popular at that point.
They were both fighting and they were both installing phone lines. Moving on.
So was it like the Cola Wars also? Because
It
I
was
don't remember that.
Quite
besides-
accurate. They went back to AT&T Classic after the
the
new venture failed.
disastrous of AT&T 2. Okay,
They went back to the classic recipe.
Yes.
obviously. Okay.
I think they called the new one U-verse. Moving on.
So I'm going to skip ahead because one bad guy is chasing Sarah, and she climbs out the window, basically,
Only
and has
option.
a rope. Because that was her
there's 40
only,
floors here
she
that
could've-
you can hide in, but
This guy's kind of big and slow. She could have just quickly ran around, hid somewhere, then ran to the elevator and gotten away. Whatever. So she's going to climb out, and there's a rope out this window for some reason, probably for this scene. He climbs out after her, but then she climbs back inward. Whatever.
so they're on the slanty.
They're a
part of
slanty.
the-
Yep. And so she's down there, and she can see her parents' party happening, but the parents don't see him. And the other kids, they go up, and then there's another bad guy there, and he's all like, "Hey, I'm an evil bad guy. What am I doing this party? I'm trying to find these kids."
And then he had a death wish, apparently.
Yeah, death wish.
Charles Bronson made an appearance here. Was he the greasy Italian?
He was a greasy Italian.
Okay.
A greasy Italian guy. And how did he get away?
They tie a
second-
power cord around his leg,
Oh,
and he
yeah, and he
trips,
trips
and hits
and-
his head.
He's knocked unconscious, I think, at this point. The greasy Italian
Sure.
old bad guy.
Yes, because they were asking who, do you know who was the caterer? And he goes, the caterer?
Yeah.
Really slow and creepy like, but yes, she
That's
wrapped
right.
the power
Yep.
cord around. And by the way, to answer your question of why did they use the rope outside the window, if they didn't, the fan art on the cover would not have happened.
Zing!
Absolutely true.
So there you go.
Because it was only Sarah that went out there.
Correct.
But yeah, the kids see Sarah outside the window. That's when they go up to the other floor and pull her up and leave the other guy.
As he
out
climbed
there.
down to go
He
get
climbed
her,
down
yeah.
to try to get Sarah, but now this other guy is stuck out on the window ledge area.
Joe Gibb
Joe
is
Gibbs
there.
shows up and he explains, "Hey, they're just after you for that Playboy because it has their notes on there, I guess, or whatever." Then the other Italian guy comes up. I think doesn't Joe just punch him out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a nice good guy, and he punches him out, and that's when they go and pick up Brenda after
Yes.
they say bye to Joe, which Chris should have hooked up with Joe, in my opinion, at least give him a kiss. He was
I
nice.
kind of saw Daryl hooking up with Joe, really.
Really?
he
yeah,
clearly...
he wanted something to happen that night.
Well, I mean, look at the two ventures he had with women. Both ended horribly. You know, he gets his ass kicked once, and
He does say later on that this was the greatest night of his life because he found himself.
Is that all he found? I think he found love.
Love
Aww.
Yeah.
with Joe Gibb.
Mm-hmm.
Blow up. And now they're racing back home because they see the parents' car also. And they ask, how fast do they drive? 45. We'll go 90 or 80.
The people on the highway in Chicago must hate them if they drive 45
Sure,
on the
45.
highway. I'd hate them
They
already.
enjoy their gas mileage.
Do they use 2 lanes when they drive too? Come on.
They're rich. They own an entire building, apparently. Thor's building. It's not even close to Avengers Tower.
Damn.
They get home. It's a race, but it's not as entertaining as like Ferris Bueller's
No.
race to
The
get home.
music made it.
Well,
The
music
Ferris
and
Bueller was
the writing
that's
and
right.
a bunch of other things,
acting.
acting and just well shot,
Cinematography.
so on and so forth. They get home and just in time. Chris cleans up real quick.
The noodles that Brad had dropped in the very beginning when
We're still there.
Sarah scares him about Chris is coming, and then he
dropped
gets
all the
nervous
noodles
and drops
down.
all the noodles.
Yep. Those are finally, thank goodness, picked up. So there's closure in that arc of did anybody clean up those noodles? They get cleaned up at this point. The kids go up and pretend to be in bed and sleep, whatever. Parents come home and okay. Everybody says, "Hey, that was a fun evening and things.
And
we
then-
should do that again."
But then Dan.
Then
pulls
Dan,
up.
as Chris is leaving, Dan shows up, and you're just wondering, this is not right because it's middle of the night, and she didn't give any directions or anything. But earlier, Sarah said, as you're driving back home, "Hey, I lost one of my skates," and that's how Dan creepily found out.
Because they had the address on it.
Had the address on the other skate.
The thing is, though, we haven't seen these skates
Only in the
since the
beginning.
house.
Correct.
There's
She's
been
not
no
allowed to skate
mention
inside,
of these
however.
skates.
She could have used them to get away from them.
She had her backpack the whole time, though.
Yeah, I know, but they never
In her
became
Thor cape.
part of the story until, oh, hey,
Yes.
I randomly lost them.
Agreed, because I had
I
forgotten
didn't
about
even
it.
know you had them. to me, it sounded like it was a patch-in kind of thing. Like, oh, yeah,
Yes.
she had skates.
Like they finished the movie, they're all like the end, the credits roll.
We have to have a happy ending.
How
What
the fuck did
happened to
Dan know
that
how to
guy?
get there?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
and that's what
like,
he's
how do we
here
do
is-
this?
Yeah, and he says this creepy line like, "Oh, you're a babysitter. I want to hire you to babysit for me."
No, babysit me.
And then they kiss, and then the song plays, and then everybody watches.
Question
as
the
they kiss.
ethics of a college man with a Cosby sweater at a frat party. You know, we'll just assume he's going to do what he's going to do.
Oh, and he did.
And he did.
Doesn't the movie fade out at that point?
Brad has this real slow draw of the curtain as he's all disappointed. seeing
I'll
his-
never be as much of a man as Dan.
and you hear a
Exactly.
zip as he takes his pants off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
With everyone still in his room?
that's the only way he can do it anymore.
Or did they all take their
It was a
pants off?
crazy adventure in babysitting that happened over the course of
And then
couple
right
hours.
right before the fade to black, though, they cut back to the gentleman still on the ledge of the building, looking up.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, and then it fades away, and it cuts
That
back to French class. Now I get it. And then-
Oh, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reference. Okay, bye. Movie's done. Obviously, me talking about this, I was bored through the vast majority of this movie. I really didn't care for it. Yep, the highlights were basically Sarah, Thor, and a couple other things here and there. But for the most part, it did not hold up for me. I don't know what you guys think.
It's tough. For me,
Yeah, somebody watched it quite a bit, and it was really part of your childhood.
it really was. And you know, and the thing is, you know, as much as, you know, as we brought up, you know, that with the Disney remake, or kind of partially remake, it's completely different. Well, not completely different, partially different plot line, I guess. But, you know, people bitched and lost their mind saying Ghostbusters ruined their childhood. This new one blew my fucking mind. I'm like, this is bullshit. This American classic, you know,
I would
that
not
took
call this
that's
a classic.
this absolute classic that took place in the city.
No. I disagree completely.
That had fantastic music and blues and
It had
very
good music here
real
and there.
world scenarios.
Oh, okay.
But the new one has like a rap battle, doesn't it? Between the two girls?
What are you guys doing watching this? Did your girls watch it, Drew?
No.
Okay. I was looking for an excuse. You could have easily said, yes, they did, and I happened to be walking by.
Yeah, no, it's
But
not.
but obviously, so, I mean, this movie, the 87 version, did obviously mean something to you. So
It did, but you know, as many things I think from the 80s, if you watch it now for the first time, you would lose interest quickly. Can I watch it now and still enjoy it? I can, but
Yes, that's what I mean.
it's 95% nostalgia.
That's what I mean.
5% would actually really still be into it.
Yep. But you can see that it fails, but you enjoy it because of having just, that nostalgia aspect to it.
Correct.
Okay,
I think the
that's what I
fact
want.
that, you know, Playboys doesn't have nudes anymore really makes it not hold up in the times.
Very true.
As there'd be no points to hold
I thought
on
I
to
heard
that.
they're coming back, though.
I think they have to. What the hell else would they pay for that crap
The
for?
articles.
The interview was really good.
Really interesting. It had good points on how to get the perfect suit. Joe, how about you?
I agree. It's all nostalgia now. And the one reason why the nostalgia even holds up, it's not because of what's happening in the movie. The whole, like you said, the story behind everything happening's pretty generic. Everything is very generic. But what makes it work for me is the pacing. The only time the pacing fails is at the silver dollar. That the whole movie comes to a crashing halt and stays too long at that point. But everything else, if you don't like a part, it's done in like 2 minutes. And it moves on to something else.
So the blues portion is like that one skit in SNL. They just can't stop
It
for
didn't-
no
it-
reason
yeah,
whatsoever.
Yeah, it's very cringy to listen to it. Yeah, there's too long of a silence, and then they get into the song, and that goes on for way too long. Yeah, I would have to agree.
But that does fulfill
It
the
does.
80s need to have a music video in the middle of your movie.
Very true.
And it did advance their escape by 2 seconds. We've established.
So yeah, this does not escape nostalgia, though. That was Adventures in Babysitting. If you want to get a hold of us, email at therewinderspodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at The Rewinders Pod. You can find this podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. You can rate and review.
Please.
You can.
Please, you can and should. but you can.
Yes.
You're right. What did I learn from this movie? I learned that Thor lives in Chicago.
Bad choice.
Bad choice? No, we need superheroes in Chicago. They're all in New York City just hanging out, playing Nintendo. There's nobody here to save us.
Not only that, but if we could join up with the Great Lakes Avengers, the Squirrel Girl can now get involved.
Exactly.
See, this would be
Okay,
amazing.
there you go. Okay, now I see your point. I learned that people with hooks for hands don't want to scrape your face off. They want to scrape off the motherfucker who's cheating with his wife face. Off. Grammar.
True. Oh, what I learned.
Yeah,
from
what did
this
you learn
movie.
from this movie?
Wow. You know, I had a few things coming into this of what I've really learned, but I think I've learned more in the last hour than I really have in 30 years of this movie's existence.
About Joe's
Joe,
joy,
you know,
of no pants.
Well, not only that, but I think now learning that Joe Gibb and Daryl are really going places, and I'm really hopeful that, I mean, Joe is kind of a skeevy, dirty guy because he's like this. I'm hoping that's not how Daryl got AIDS.
Oh my goodness.
I was going to tie an angel somewhere into this conversation.
It's but it's been 23 and a half years, so it's funny now. So
Everything. And we are the Rewinders. Thanks for listening.